And hello, Savannah. Thank you for being part of this radio show and tuning in today. You're listening to WRUULP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul. And my name is Julia, and you've just tuned into Real Estate Real Talk. I will be your host here for the next hour. And in my show, we talk about anything and everything related to real estate, and that includes anything related to you being a landlord or a tenant, or if you're a small investor, or if you just have general questions about mortgages or loan products or anything related to real estate, just really everything and anything. And on today's show, I'm going to answer more questions from my subscribers on my YouTube channel. I have a pretty active YouTube channel out there, social media presence. And I'll get those questions ready for you. But in the meantime, I'll play you a song here, Shattered Dreams by Johnny Hates Jazz. Shattered Dreams by Johnny Hates Jazz. Hope you like that tune as much as I do. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thanks for having tuned into Real Estate Real Talk with Julia M. Spencer. My weekly show here on Wednesdays is broadcast live from Troop Square, downtown Savannah. And I'm really, really glad and happy to be part of this radio station here at WRUU. If you are a regular listener, thank you very much. If you have checked out other programs, you can also go to our website, WRUU.org, and check out the complete lineup of the shows that we have. We have such a variety, awesome variety of all kinds of music shows as well as talk shows. And in today's show, I'm just going to talk a little bit more about some of the questions and comments I get on my YouTube channel. It's quite interesting sometimes. You put a little bit of opinion out there and people just haunt you with their opinions on top of it. So I'm gonna start off with a bang here a little bit. I'm gonna read you guys a comment that was left by a subscriber or somebody who was on YouTube here recently. And I actually just read this comment today, even though it was left about a week ago. You can actually watch the video too if you go on YouTube. And of course, all my videos are free to watch. There's no commercials or anything. So this video was a video I actually recorded right here in inside the cafeteria of Whole Foods here in Savannah a couple of years ago. It's been a while. And it was answering another subscriber's question, basically asking what happens to these foreclosures, tax sale foreclosures, which is mainly what my focus is on the show and in my professional life as well. But basically, what happens to the people that live in these properties, and are they going to be asked to leave? Are they going to be evicted? Or are they going to be thrown out on the street? So I got a comment from a person. I'm not going to mention the name, but you can go there online and look at it yourself if you like. But here's his comment, because basically the video was just me telling the subscribers that, okay, well, there's a due process. We all voted on this process. It's part of the laws of this country, of the state, of this county, Chatham County here, of what happens. And it's a step process. You know, basically the original owner gets notified plenty ahead of time to pay on their taxes. If they qualify for any kind of deductions on the taxes, such as if they're disabled, of course, and or elderly, there's all kinds of reductions that you can apply for to get a reduction on your taxes. But eventually, you're going to have to pay some sort of tax. You can't just live for free. Even if you own your house, you're going to owe some taxes on your real estate. That's just the way it is in this country. Nobody lives for free. And so basically, if you cannot pay that, there's a due process. You'll get notified. A lot of times the counties and the cities give the original owner lots and lots of time to pay up the taxes too. And whether you agree with that time frame or not, you know, that's not something I decide as an investor. That's something you need to take up with your lawmakers. And but I just basically follow the processes. So I basically made this video just to describe the process, that you'll get notified. If you don't pay, the property goes to auction, and you still have at least another 12 to, well, at least 14 months after that to make your taxes current. And nobody's going to take your property for at least 2 to 3 years in this country, in this state anyways, here in the state of Georgia, depending on how quickly the wheels of justice and law work, of course. But I got a very angry comment here from a person, so I'm just going to read it to you, and then we're going to pick it apart a little bit. So here's the answer. I'm a disabled vet and was severely injured in the line of duty, and I will soon lose my property to property tax sale. They're going to throw me into the street, put my 16-year-old dog in the pound, and take my car and truck and leave me homeless. But at the same time, we're giving the money to refugees. Now, it costs the U.S. government $78,000 per refugee, but the disabled vets are trash and don't deserve as many rights as a refugee who never served our country in any way. The Constitution says that the property must be for public use, go for public use, and the owner must be justly compensated. In other words, the tax law now is discriminatory against the disabled, is committing treason by taking an American's property and giving it to a non-American, is committing fraud since I have never signed a contract, is committing extortion since they are forcing you to pay, and if you don't, they screw you royally. This is also slavery, not allowing due process of the law, and is committing cruel and unusual punishment to the owners of the property. The government has no rights whatsoever to take your property unless it is for public use, and the owner is justly compensated. There's also mental torture of the disabled, intimidation of the owner, and I'm going to call it murder of any person who tries to defend their property, as the Constitution says is legal. The cops will kill you if you don't leave or you try to defend your property. For Julia Spencer, you are in big trouble because you are part of these criminal acts and you should be put in prison for high treason. Sorry, but this is true. And then the name of the person, comma, disabled vet. Okay, we got a mouthful here. All right, so very first off here, I am not going to make any light on any vet situation. I am an American citizen. I am here by naturalization. I'm not originally from the United States, but I take very great pride in this country and its laws, and I follow them diligently. It's a great honor to live here in this country, and quite honestly, and I've said this to many of my friends and family, a lot of people don't really appreciate how good they actually have it in this country, and there's a lot of problems, obviously, but compared to some other countries, if you ever lived in any other ones, got it pretty good here in the United States. But I promise you, we're not going to make this show about politics. I am not a politician. I'm a business person. And so let's just pick this apart just a little bit for the first half hour, and then we're going to try to get a couple more questions here. So let's talk about this person here. So he was disabled, injured, and now is soon going to lose his property to a tax sale. Now, it looks like he is the one that is responsible to pay for the taxes, which means he owns his property outright. There's no mortgage, which that's already a great thing, and he's not responsible for a mortgage payment. That's really good in terms of budget-wise, and I'm guessing since he's a disabled veteran, I would think that he would have full compensation from the United States government for his injuries. So I'm not really understanding exactly why he is not able to pay his taxes in the first place. On top of that, as a disabled person in some counties and some states and some jurisdictions, and this is for this person to actually go and check, there are some significant sometimes discounts and reductions in your property tax dues. But it is always to the individual to inquire about those or get some help to help them inquire about those. I don't think, and I've never heard of this, but please correct me, any listeners out there, if there are any places where you can actually get somebody else to pay for your taxes, maybe some sort of not-for-profit organization that helps out veterans to pay the taxes, is probably possible to find that. I've dealt with one of them, and I can't remember the name right now, but I did help a relative of mine in the past when he was really out of luck and needed new tires for his car. Basically, they gave him a couple $1,000s for that and for his rent, which was really helpful. And they didn't ask a lot of questions. So you can find help out there to get your taxes paid. But then I'm not, as this person says, I'm not really the person that makes the laws that the taxes have to be paid. And as this person that commented here, let's just give him a name because I don't want to actually name his real name. Let's just call him Chris. It's not Chris, but let's just talk about him being Chris here. He's also very intensely focused on the fact that the property must be for public use, go for public use, and the owner must be justly compensated if the property is sold on behalf of the owner. Well, in all actuality, the U.S. government is going to sell you properties for outstanding taxes, but if it's a property that has a lot of value, of course there's going to be other bidders at the auction that are going to bid it up to whatever amount. Is probably much higher than what the taxes that are owed on it. And that difference does go to the original owner. So yes, the owner will be compensated for how much that property is sold for that day. And that just depends on the market on that day, who attends these auctions, who bids on them, who has the deeper pockets, and how much interest there is in the property. It all depends also on the quality and condition of the property. So no, the original owner is just not going to get his property just taken away from him. There is a process to this. The process has been voted into law by the voters of this country, which this disabled veteran is also a member of and can vote and can involve. And so it is not like somebody's just going to take your property and give it to somebody like me who's an investor or anybody else at these auctions. So yes, the government does have some rights to take away your property if you don't pay the taxes, because the taxes are also for the people, for the citizens of this country. And, not everybody in front of the law, at least we hope to see it that way here in the United States, is on the same level. As far as the rest of this comment, mental torture of the disabled, intimidation of the owner, murder, the cops will kill you if you don't leave. I mean, I know this is probably a very emotional time when somebody is about to lose their property. But again, as an investor, I feel very compassionate and understanding of anybody who's losing their property and has to be evicted. And I have stated on this show many times before, and I've stated this in my videos as well, I try, if I can help it, I try not to bid on any properties that are occupied by anybody. The properties that are usually vacant, they're in really bad shape and need significant repairs to even be made livable. I mean, I'm definitely on the lower end. There's other people that don't do that, other investors, and of course there's always the cutthroat sharks out there, but I'm not one of them. So there's these people, so you can't really pass judgment on everybody uniformly. What I really just wanted to say, that everybody in this country that gets involved in tax sale foreclosures has a fair amount of time and fair amount of opportunity to get their issue resolved. And quite honestly, leaving comments on my YouTube channel isn't going to help you. You should definitely check the laws and see what else you can do to help your situation. In this case, either get your taxes reduced if you can't pay them, or maybe find some sort of help organization to help you pay them at least this time, and then figure out some way to go on from that point on forward. But spewing out hate messages here on my YouTube channel isn't going to help you, unfortunately. So that is my comment, my response to this comment here. And before I go to break here, there is another person that actually commented to this Chris person that left this comment. And basically she says, or he, my mother is in a similar situation. See if you can get free legal help. See if Chapter 13 can be filed for you. My mother filed pro se and thought that she could do pre-credit counseling later and had her case dismissed. Long story involving some different circumstances, but the judges and lawyers are very understanding and will not liberally interpret the laws as they are, and they will help you. So please hurry. You will at least get 30 more days to take care of your situation. And that's, again, very good advice. And here she gives another very good advice, and I would definitely encourage you to do that as well if you're losing your property, to add a tax sale or somebody, or it's in your future and it's threatening to happen. You could also try and speak with the tax buyer. Hope that the tax buyer has some morals like this channel. Don't count on it, though. In my mother's case, the tax buyer will not respond to requests to talk, wants to remain anonymous. Wonder why? And here, my dear listeners, you can always speak to me. I am a tax buyer. I buy tax sale foreclosures in this town, all over this town here in Savannah, Chatham County, also in other counties. If you want to talk to me, you want to resolve some sort of situation on your case, always let me know. I'm not going to be anonymous. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to pick up the phone. And this is also the reason why I have this radio channel here. Is you can always contact me through my email, realestate@juliamspencer.com. You can ask me questions. Of course, you can reach me on YouTube, but I'm always going to encourage you to resolve any kind of challenge or problem in a constructive way. So that would be my first, most challenging comment here out of the way for today's show. And I'm going to play another break song here, and I will be back in just a few minutes, and we're going to talk a little bit more about real estate investing and anything and everything related to real estate. And that was Hearts on Fire by Cut Copy. My name is Julia M. Spencer, and thanks for having tuned into Real Estate Real Talk here on this Wednesday afternoon. I'm going to be playing you a couple of public service announcements, and I will be right back.
This year's general election will take place on Tuesday, November 6th. Candidates for Congress, Governor, State Legislature, and other offices will be on the ballot. The last day to register to vote is Tuesday, October 9th. Early voting will take place from October 15th through November 2nd, with Saturday and Sunday hours on October 27th and 28th. To confirm your registration or polling location, call Chatham County Voter Registration at 912-790-1520 or visit the registration office on Eisenhower Drive.
WRUU brings you the most diverse and passionate local radio programming on the air in Savannah. This all-volunteer and nonprofit community radio station accepts no money from any form of government. Our diversity and independence is made possible only through the generous financial support of listeners like you. We rely on your annual and ongoing monthly contributions to cover the many costs associated with bringing you our broadcasts and our web programming. If you are a contributor, thank you. If you're not yet a contributor, please show your appreciation of the role WRUU plays in your life by becoming a contributor in any amount. You can donate quickly and easily by credit card or check. Just find the donate and subscribe links at WRUU.org. Thanks for listening to and supporting WRUU.
WRUU 107.5 FM is all volunteer community radio. Tune in this afternoon. From 3 to 4, Rob Hessler and David Laughlin present Art on the Air, an interview program dedicated to the visual arts in Savannah. From 4 to 6, Louis Clausey and Matthew Adams present That Old Savannah Magic, a variety show featuring Savannah history, radio theater, interviews, and music. From 6 to 7, Barbara Humphreys and Albert Strickland present Voices of Resistance, giving voice to justice and peace activists with no other voice in the Savannah media. Find our full schedule at WRUU.org.
And thanks for sticking with me here for Real Estate Real Talk. You're listening to WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM. WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. You just tuned into Real Estate Real Talk, and I'm answering questions from my YouTube channel. And it's very interesting how a couple years ago, I think maybe like 3 years ago, I started posting stuff on YouTube. And some of it was just stuff I really didn't know a lot about, just kind of what I learned and shared it with people. Got a lot of comments on, and specifically one of the topics that I keep continuously get a lot of hits on my YouTube videos and comments are timeshares. And of course, being a real estate investor, my goal was always to look at timeshares and timeshare presentations and the timeshare products in from the perspective of a real estate investor, not really a user, because it's just not very feasible for me to buy timeshares. I don't like going to the same place every year, and I use Airbnb a lot. I use some other vacation rental services online, and it's just not feasible for me to buy a timeshare in a fancy resort, and just never made financial sense to me. But I've looked at it from an investor perspective, because a lot of times the timeshare salespeople try to sell it to you that way. It's like, hey, you want a piece of real estate? You know, you can buy this week at so-and-so resort every year for the rest of your life, you know, and they're trying to sell it that way. So I kind of like made a couple of videos about that, put it on YouTube. Thousands and thousands of hits on those continuously, although I deal with timeshares very little. And I have only a limited amount of knowledge about loans and loan products. And but I get a lot of comments from those. So I wanted to address just a couple of recent ones that were left, because I thought they were pretty interesting here. So this was one where I was in Orlando last year in November for Thanksgiving, and they sold me a stay at a really nice resort there for a couple days for a really small amount. I think it was maybe $100 or something for 3 or 4 nights, and as long as I attended one of our sales presentations. So I did that, and I made a video about it, put it there. And it's called New Sneaky Tactics in Timeshare Sales Presentations, if you wanted to look at the video. But basically what I discuss in the video is that they are now trying to use you as the person that actually attends the presentations to go out and seek other people that want to buy timeshares, so you can then collect a commission on them buying timeshares, and you can basically earn your timeshare for free as long as you find them new people to buy more of them. So it's kind of like a little bit of a pyramid scheme there. I always was wondering about that, and I made this video about it because I've never seen it before, and I've been to a few timeshare sales presentations. So I got this message from a lady, and she mentions the name of the resort. I'm not going to mention the name of the resort here on the show. You can look at it on my YouTube channel if you wish, but it doesn't really matter. But basically she said the name of the resort is using sleight of hand techniques to obtain signatures acknowledging review of disclosures that they actively try to conceal with document dumps installed online setups. So this person that left this comment, she said, or he, maybe, I'm not sure, I am a retired corporate law attorney, and this happened to me. I was ill at the time, and everything went so fast that it's mostly a blur. But I would know if I was reviewing a public offering statement, and the fact that I was clueless regarding the information, including the cancellation period. That was contained in the documents throughout the text and emails that was sent to me by the friendly salesperson in small print. So she calls them total sleazes, and their points product is basically garbage or vaguely defined. You use it for the year and even more vague for the future in exchange for significant debt and lifetime maintenance fee commitments. Think about it. You're in hospice care, still paying the ever-increasing maintenance fees and special assessments on a vacation plan that you bought 30 years ago. And someone should set up a sting. It's very abusive. Of course, those that are rich enough to ignore the cost probably love it and are treated like royalty, but they don't stick with those types because they need people for the low usage dates and venues. And that was the comment. It was a very good comment. I never thought about these things, that if you purchase a timeshare and they promise you this piece of ownership or so for the rest of your life, and you buy it when you're in your 30s or 40s, well, guess what? If you're, in hospice and dying, you still have to pay for it. You can't get out of this contract. It's almost I would almost venture to say it's pretty much impossible to get out of a timeshare. If you successfully got out of one, let me know. Also, if you're a company, I've heard of companies that actually specialize in getting you out of timeshares. Let me know. I would love to get those representatives on the show here, and I'm going to actively actually seek some, even though I don't deal with timeshares. But yeah, I can very much see this being a big problem, and I'm glad this person left this comment on my video here. Another thing that I always get on the timeshare sales presentation videos is that Here is a very good comment from a subscriber called Lou Screws. Please explain why it makes sense to purchase a timeshare to vacation with all of the maintenance fees, mortgage payments, and other expenses, plus the perpetuity clause, when all one has to do is rent a hotel room whenever and wherever they want to vacation, and only have the one expense of the hotel room for the time one is using it without any future expenses. So there's some smart people out there on my YouTube channel here, and thank you so much for leaving these comments. Now, I did get, in all respect, I do get comments actually also frequently of people that have timeshares and that really, really enjoy them. So it's almost like talking about politics or religion or race inequalities. It's like there's always, all of a sudden, you're sparking the little, you're sparking the fire of the forest with this little one spark. You just put it out there on YouTube, and everybody wants to comment. So it's very interesting to me, and I definitely learned in my 3 years there on YouTube what lights the spark in any case. So I really enjoy reading everybody's comments. But hopefully we can get to a couple more. We have about 20 more minutes here of my show, Real Estate Real Talk. Thank you so much for having tuned in. I'm going to play you another song here I've been listening to last week. And we're going to get to a couple more questions. This one is by Rhea Garvey, Kiss Me. And that was Rhea Garvey with Kiss Me. My name is Julia M. Spencer. I'm a real estate investor here in town, and you're listening to Real Estate Real Talk. Thanks for having stuck with me here through this Wednesday afternoon hour. It is 12:44, so we have another 16 minutes or so. So I was kind of debating, since our shows are here usually live from Troop Square downtown Savannah here. I don't know if you can hear the police sirens in the background there. It's very live. And I was debating whether I should answer another question about timeshares or if I should just let go of that topic. Sometimes you just gotta let go. You just can't poke on it anymore. It's a dead horse. Stop poking it. So I was going to use the last couple of minutes to just update you on my current situation here, because I have a couple other things actively going on here in this town, and kind of give you a little bit of a personal side of real estate investing, I guess. Some of the stuff I have to deal with. And be off the air here on time, because there's another awesome show right after this. And so here's what's going on. I actually purchased a tax sale foreclosure here in Chatham County in May of 2017. So it's been a little bit more than a year ago now. And talking about the very first topic that I addressed here on the show today, it was exactly that situation too. The original owner was elderly. The kids were going to inherit the property. They kind of jointly owned it. But the elderly person was in hospice or in the hospital. I can't remember because they didn't tell me exactly. But they called me right away after I purchased the property last year. And I've talked to them several times, and I've kind of explained the process. I told them, hey, look, there's also city tax that's outstanding because the property is within city limits. So we have 2 taxing authorities here involved. I purchased the property at a county sale. I didn't bid it up very high, so it was not a big amount that was owed. I think it was like $1,000 maybe. And they had a whole year to pay it back and figure out some way to get the money to pay me back so they can make their taxes current. And I did encourage them to go ahead and take care of the city taxes as well, if that's possible, so that the city doesn't come and turn around and auction their property off again as soon as they paid me off, because that was very much a possibility. And I've talked to I think it was a child of an elderly owner, and I believe the child, not like a real small child or anything, by no means an adult, and talked to them several times. And what happened is that towards the end of the redemption period, which was the end of May. I'm sorry, I purchased the property in May, so it was the end of April. We went back and forth a lot in April, and eventually the original owner apparently hired an attorney in town to redeem the property for them, and they asked me for the amount, which I provided to them with the dates and everything else that was needed to redeem it. And I offered to even write the documents or have my attorney write the documents, which they said they were going to take care of that, which as an investor, I don't care. It saves me time. And we're getting to the last day. I mean, within like 3 or 4 days of the end of the redemption period, I'm like, okay, what's happening? I haven't heard anything in a couple weeks. What's going on? Or a week at that time. I called the attorney, and the attorney basically says, well, we haven't heard from the original owner either. We tried to call, and the phone is disconnected. We send a message through email, and nobody's answered. And so we're sitting tight trying to figure out what to do, and we don't know what to tell you other than, keep your phone line open in case something happens. And that's exactly what I did. Waited and waited for the last day, called the attorney again on the last day, and they actually have a year and a day. So after the year or on that very last day, literally the day after the 1 year was up, which was still within the time frame, I called again and I said, hey, if they don't redeem it, we're going to have to foreclose. We got to do something with it. And for all of you out there that think I'm such a bad investor, the reason I was trying to get there is because I had no access rights to the property and it was very badly overgrown. And the city was sending me notices saying that, hey, you need to take care of that because it's a public nuisance if you don't take care of the yard right now. And my response is, I'd love to. I don't have possession. I can't just trespass. And we're in the process of foreclosing and everything. So they gave me some more time. The city did. It was a very tense situation there for a little while, but in the end, what happened is the property was foreclosed on, and they lost the rights to the property, and I gained access permissions. We're in the process of cleaning it up right now, and I have found some investors from Atlanta that were supposed to buy it. We were on a contract to close within the next week here, and unfortunately, they backed out at the last minute. They have actually till tomorrow to close, but I don't think it's going to happen. And so we're back at square one. We got to find a buyer for this property, and it's in very bad shape. It requires $30,000 to $40,000 of investment to at least make it livable. So it's not all peaches and candy. You don't just take a really nice property from somebody and you use it and take it away from them. I mean, there's some risk involved. There's some involvement, some time involvement that's necessary. And it's not just cherries and cream here for us investors. It's a lot of hard work, and we're trying to work with everybody and make everybody happy. And we're doing the best that we can within the laws. So your criticism is well warranted. I want to hear it, but I do want to talk about the actual issues and how it really is in real life. And that is my goal here on the show for Real Estate Real Talk. That's what I talk about. And hopefully... And this is actually my last topic here for today, and I kind of want to close with that here. I got another 10 minutes or so. But hopefully you get a little bit more of an idea, a little bit of background knowledge about how things work. We're not all money sharks. We're not all out to steal your properties or anything like that. It's a lot of hard work. It's what you apply your efforts to is what you get out of them in return. And I'm trying to make it fair for everybody and also educate people on the same line to do the same things that I do. I've been very blessed with the life that real estate investing has given me. I didn't always want to be in real estate, but I definitely like my life that real estate has enabled me to have. And for that, I'm very grateful, and I share my knowledge with anybody and everybody that wants to know. So, and for that, I'm also very happy. I'm here, volunteer at WRUULP, and we will be playing another closing song here. I guess I'm going to pick which one I'm going to use here. There's a couple of really good ones I've picked from a German band called Wolfsheim, and I believe the next show here is going to be hosted by a new host, and it's African music, I believe, some really cool stuff. So please stay on, stay tuned. If you want to know our complete lineup, go to the WRUU.org website. We have all kinds of shows for every taste and every flavor of music that you can imagine at all hours of the day. And I am on Wednesdays here, Real Estate Real Talk, Julia. You can also look me up online, Julia M. Spencer, or you can email me, realestate@juliamspencer.com. And you're listening to WRUULP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM. WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. And I hope you all have an awesome, great rest of your week and Wednesday. And I'm going to sign off with Wolfsheim Künstliche Welten. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.
For your free guide to real estate investing, visit juliamspencer.com.